Hello, welcome back to the Ineffableelse. Welcome to another video in the series all about Jupiter. Today we'll be focusing on Jupiter in the second house, Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter conjunct with Venus. Very auspicious place for Jupiter to be. I highly doubt you would be seeking out this placement if you have it, because your life will be naturally quite fluid and flowing, at least in this regard. If you want to learn more about Jupiter in general, I have an introductory video on the planet itself and what it pertains to, but fundamentally it is to do with growth and magnification of anything that it touches. But it definitely has a benefic quality, something much more optimistic and positive. Another reason you may be watching this is because as of 2023 in May, Jupiter will be leaving Aries and moving into Taurus, so it's an important thing for us all to tune into. As it passes through Aries, it's expanding a lot of themes to do with war, evidently. So how will that look when it then moves into Taurus? Yes, it can be auspicious, yes, it can be a lucky place, yes, it can be a happy place for Jupiter, but it can also be a bit too comfortable, and we can end up feeling a kind of to hell with it attitude. The devil may care, what's the point? The kind of nihilism that goes hand in hand with excess. And rather than going down into a depressed place, it goes off into a place of excess. And this is coming at a time where it will be coupled with Uranus being in Taurus, as it has been for a good long while now. It takes 7 years to move through the sign. And this is catalytic change, this is extreme change. So when we have Jupiter coming along and emphasizing that, believe it or not, things are going to change even more as of next year. It's also curious for you if you have this natally, because this will be your Jupiter return. So it's interesting for you to take a look at when your Jupiter returned at different ages throughout your life. It takes 12 years, more or less, to pass through each of the signs. So when you're about 12 and then 24 and then going on. And it's a curiosity to see whether things have been expanded for better or for worse, really depending on your attitude to the situation. So with it involving second house themes, you're going to be looking at an expansion of your core values, and something that may challenge them, but really in a sense that you can exalt those qualities within yourself. You can bring them to the fore, and you can be a champion of those virtues that you see in yourself and in the world. And then with the Venus conjunction, of course, it's just an emphasis on beauty and an emphasis on balance and harmony, and it can be superficial, it can be quite related to physicality and makeup and clothing and fashion. And this is an interesting place for you to potentially make your wealth in the world. It's very easy for you, you have this kind of innate understanding of beauty and what goes with what and what flows, but you can try to stretch your soul. I encourage everyone who comes to this channel to push yourself further than these kind of boxed in archetype labels, and actually see how can I evolve this archetype to be something less superficial, something much more profound. And it will bring your values into perspective, and this is your wealth and your focus. And have you been very wealthy, and how do you feel about that? Have you felt fulfilled? Have you felt like it's been everything you dreamed, getting the success that you wanted? And likewise, if you're looking for success and you haven't got it, maybe assess what success means to you. What would it mean to have everything that you could possibly dream of, and how would you feel there? And would you still feel miserable? Would it get old soon? Would you get tired of it? These are all valid questions to ask with this placement. Jupiter is there to expand your consciousness, and so often it just makes people overwhelmed. And why do you think we start drinking and taking drugs and living in excessive lifestyles? It's largely because of the fear of our own light. As much as we may try to escape the negative parts of our life with these sorts of substances, likewise, you might go down that route when you start to discover your own potential, and you have to face the fact that you're potentially not living up to it, or that it's bigger and better than you could have ever dreamt of, and it's intimidating to you. Sometimes you think of people that may intimidate you in your worldly life, And then imagine yourself being one of those very people to yourself. So you kind of end up sheepish around your own true self. We are fragmented individuals as humans. We do have many faces and many phases and many masks, and half the time we hold the mask up and kind of find one that we think fits and kind of live behind that in a comfortable charade. And later it kind of peels back or falls off, or you can't quite keep it stuck on, and then the real self starts to come through. And oftentimes, yeah, it's wounded and it's hidden and it's underappreciated, but when it's really given a clean and a hug and kind of acknowledgement for how fantastic it is, then it's going to shine 10 times brighter than any layers and layers of makeup that you could paste on yourself. And then the last time that Jupiter was in Taurus alongside Uranus was just before the Great Depression. So there was this excess of life and of thinking that, you know, what's the point? And then the crash happened and the Great Depression happened, and there are definite similarities being drawn between that time and now. You know, what do we define as a crisis? And it ends up feeling like, well, the whole of life is just one big crisis after another. It's just an extended crisis forever. And it's, well, yeah, this is consciousness waking up within us. And in the past we may have felt like maybe things were plodding along, or there was a kind of swing this way or that way. Now it's sped up to a very tangible, noticeable degree where you can see all of the truths being revealed to us in quite painful ways. But that has a lot to do with the fact that there is a simultaneous desire for denial and suppression of truth, but there's also this heartfelt bigger thing underneath that is our soul, that's pounding through and not forcing itself out. It's just you can never spot a truth, because truth is always just self-evident. What you notice are the lies, and these are the lies popping up to the surface, bubbling up, the parts of ourselves that we thought were a certain way, the things in our life that we thought were definitely going to be a certain way. And yes, this is going to be Taurus energy, fixed earth, but things are going to crumble, you know. Earthquakes, these sorts of events are likely to take place when Uranus is in Taurus, and when you've got Jupiter magnifying that feeling. This is going to become, if this is natally within your chart, this is going to become very key for you, and any Taurus placements are going to be exacerbated by this. And the collective consciousness is made up of many people with many different things relating to this, so we're all affected. There's no escape, and that's a good thing. So do you find yourself tending towards excess or sobriety? And what are your feelings towards both? Do you find yourself constricted and restricted and not able to relax and let go? Or do you find yourself reaching for the bottle and reaching for the distraction and just not being able to be in silence ever? And the two things are very much linked. You know, some of the most uptight, stressed out people are the ones that I've met are the ones that would smoke weed all day, every day, because it's a way to try to limit those Capricornian, Saturnian feelings of wanting to control a situation by kind of surrendering your will, surrendering. We feel like taking drugs or drinking is letting go and surrendering to the substance. But it's actually conforming. And is it possible for you to really surrender and let go and just be in an excess of you, just you, with you? It's a lot for a lot of people, and sometimes drinking just takes the edge off, you know. Having that donut just kind of tides me over to the next meal. Well, you're not going to die. So what are you actually going to have to experience? You're going to have to experience some discomfort. And Taurus is the ultimate comfort seeker. So to allow yourself to be comfortable, I think whenever a particular archetype becomes okay with its antithesis, that's when we are all evolving, you know? When a Scorpio is able to really enjoy the lighter things in life, and when a Taurus is really able to allow the darkness in, then we're reaching somewhere in the middle. So this will bring your values into focus. What are your values? What do you value in life? Have you ever questioned your values? Are they automatically assimilated from the society around you and from your parents? Or are they something that you've cultivated and discovered? They may end up being the same as your parents and same as society, but it often has to be learnt and experienced to be understood. You can tell me something and I'll think about it. You can show me something, I might remember it. But if you engage me in the process, then I will definitely remember it, because I've had that first-hand experience. Also, there's a comfort with Taurus that you can cultivate, which is the ultimate comfort of you being you. And then it doesn't matter what's going to be coming around the corner in terms of the next crisis, the next big thing happening in the external world, because there'll be something rock solid within your core, which is consistent, which is unshakable, which is really not determined by external factors. It's sturdy as a bull, and it is also humble and holds the humility of allowing every weather to pass across its field without reacting, without stressing out. Have you ever seen a stressed out cow? Maybe. But not likely, because of the field it finds itself in. They're pretty happy plodding along with the life. The other point with the comfort that can be a bit of a trap with Taurus feelings and Venusian feelings is a kind of a happiness with your lot. This is a good thing to have. For most other signs, it's something we should all be trying to strive for, a satisfaction with what we've got. But there also needs to be this longing for more. And it doesn't mean a longing for more substance, a longing for more relationships and more friends and more people, more experiences, this kind of thing. That can sometimes be a gateway, but they can also act as distractions. But more of a pure intention, a pure longing for something that is unknown, that you feel, if you really tap in, you feel deeper down in your soul that you know there's something more. There's something eternal. There's something accessible only in the stillness, only in the darkness, only in the silence. But how do you allow yourself to get to that point without getting distracted in this amazing world of Maya and shapes and forms and smells and colours and textures and all the beautiful people on the planet, and question yourself. Question what you value, what you wish to get out of life, and what you will do with this natural blessing of this placement, and the blessing that will be waiting for us next year, whether we like it or not. It's going to be change, and acknowledging the change as a blessing, and any illusion that you were under that you don't like change, you don't like things to change, it's not a blessing if things change. Well, things are always changing. It's never the two same flies buzzing around your head. It's never the same Monday morning. Every single thing is different. Every single thing you may find monotonous is actually a entirely new gateway for you to walk through and to play with. The energies are always different. This is once in 80 years what's going to happen next year. It only happens once in the last 80 years. So these kind of events, you can kind of take a step back and acknowledge for what they really are, and find your own little significant insignificance within the great cosmic soup. Because when you were growing, when you were changing as a child, things were hurting, but it was a good thing that you got bigger. It's a good thing you didn't stay 3 foot tall, that you were fulfilling your potential to be an adult. And every little thing that you've overcome and that you've moved through, this growth principle has offered you a wider field of consciousness and more experience and more understanding. And I'm at the point now where the smallest event in observation in the universe is enough to trigger a whole heap of feelings to come up to the surface, to be kind of felt and experienced that I would otherwise have judged or not allowed to move through me, or not allowed to be part of my experience because of one judgment or another. But we're really here to experience the full range of human emotions. And don't get it twisted when I say that as if we need to all be, you know, a mess, completely emotionally unstable and unhinged. I don't mean that at all. I mean the complete opposite, which is the emotions come up, we don't judge them, and they just come out. Whether that's, you know, that tightness you feel in your throat, we're just letting that release. The tears, if they want to come, letting them come. And if the anger comes, just sort of acknowledging that it's anger. I'm not angry. That's the worst thing you can do. Yes, you are. You're just forcing it back in the body. But just letting that go in whichever way, not by hurting anyone else, projecting it out onto anyone else, but by punching a bag or just releasing. And half the time, the feeling process is literally just going to look like you sitting there like, like some kind of inner mechanic doing its work, an invisible mechanic I used to call it. It's just this incredible thing that can come in and rearrange all this stuff and just open up your channels and let it all through and let it go, because the emotions want to move. Your soul doesn't want to hold on to them. It's just you and your mind and our collective mind that thinks that that's how you get a handle on emotions, is by holding them down, keeping them in a box that's gonna explode like a box of serpents at some stage. So yeah, this is the side of Taurus that, you know, it's all about the earth, but it's not so much about digging deep into the mud beneath your fingertips and seeing where this nourishment is coming from, and then feeling that gratitude for it. The best medicine for any sign is gratitude, and particularly with Taurus, this, with Venus and Jupiter together, that gratitude can be amplified. And then when you're in that state of gratitude, you're not gonna, it's not a case that you then are given a pat on the back for being grateful and then given more things to be grateful for. It's you're in a state of gratitude, so things that make you feel grateful will just appear because you're in a state of feeling grateful. So you're a match to that kind of feeling, but it has to be a genuine feeling. It can't just be an imagined, you know, I feel good today, I feel good today, yes, I'm going to manifest this, when there's all sorts under the surface that you're not really willing to look at. It's like, if you want to get the best out of life, you have to be really willing to allow the worst to flow out. And it's just that, it's like letting out a bad smell or something. It's just like let it release and dissipate into the universe, and that's it. Simple as. So thank you so much for joining me again. I hope this was interesting. And please contact me if you would like to have a reading. The website is ineffableelse.com. Thanks so much. Bye bye.